Welcome to Revenge Files, where real stories, karma moments, and dramatic twists come alive. Today's story is one you won't forget. Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Hartwell, and what I'm about to share with you today is a story that completely changed my relationship with my family forever. This is a tale of betrayal, exclusion, and ultimately, the sweetest revenge that didn't require me to lift a finger. Some of you might think I'm petty. Others will understand why I did what I did. But I promise you one thing, by the end of this story, you'll have an opinion, and I can't wait to hear it. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let me take you through the most dramatic chapter of my life. Let me paint you a picture of who I am. I'm 32 years old, a self-made businesswoman who built a luxury event planning company from the ground up. After years of 80-hour work weeks, smart investments, and some lucky breaks, I purchased my dream property 3 years ago, a stunning mansion on 5 acres of pristine land, complete with gardens that look like they belong in a fairy tale, a pavilion perfect for outdoor events, and enough space to host 200 guests comfortably. My younger brother, Marcus, is 28. We grew up close, or at least I thought we were. He was always the golden child in my mother's eyes, charming, social, never met a stranger. When he got engaged to his girlfriend Sienna 2 years ago, I was genuinely happy for him. Sienna seemed sweet enough, though I always got the feeling she was a bit materialistic. But hey, who was I to judge? Love is love, right? The problems started about 6 months before the wedding was supposed to happen. Marcus and I started talking less frequently. At first, I chalked it up to wedding stress. Planning a wedding is overwhelming, and I figured he was just busy with preparations, venue visits, cake tastings, all the usual stuff. When I'd call, he'd give short answers. When I'd text, I'd get one-word responses. Hey, how's the wedding planning going? Fine. Need any help? I literally plan events for a living, you know. We've got it handled. It stung a little, but I tried not to take it personally. Sienna was probably one of those brides who wanted to control every detail herself. I understood. I'd seen it 1,000 times in my line of work. Then my aunt, my mother's sister, Aunt Cecilia, came to visit me one Saturday afternoon. We were having coffee on my back terrace, overlooking the gardens, when I mentioned how excited I was about Marcus's wedding. I can't wait for the wedding tomorrow, I said, smiling as I imagined my baby brother finally tying the knot. I bought the most gorgeous dress, and I've got a gift that's going to blow their minds. I'm so proud of him, Aunt Cease. The look on her face made my blood run cold. She set down her coffee cup very carefully, her expression shifting from confusion to something like pity. Victoria, sweetheart, the wedding was last week. I actually laughed. It was such an absurd statement that my brain couldn't process it as truth. What? No, it's not. The wedding is tomorrow, Saturday, June 15th. I have it in my calendar. I RSVP'd months ago. Aunt Cecilia reached across the table and took my hand. Honey, they moved it up. It was last Saturday, June 8th. The whole family was there. The world tilted on its axis. That's not possible. Marcus would have told me. Mom would have told me. Someone would have. They deliberately didn't tell you, she said quietly. I'm so sorry, Victoria. I thought you knew and had chosen not to come. I only found out today from your cousin Rachel that you'd been completely left out. She was horrified when she realized you didn't know. And if you're sitting there thinking, maybe IT was just a mix-up, don't you dare subscribe. This was no accident, and if you're on the villain's side, this channel isn't for you. I sat there, stunned into silence, as Aunt Cecilia pulled out her phone and showed me the photos. There was Marcus in his tuxedo, looking happier than I'd ever seen him. There was Sienna in a dress that must have cost $40,000, surrounded by all 200 guests. There was my mother, crying happy tears. There were my uncles, my cousins, family friends I'd known my entire life. And there, in the background of one photo, I could see the venue, the Ashworth Estate, one of the most expensive wedding venues in the state. Not a single person had thought to tell me. I called Marcus immediately. He didn't answer. I called 6 more times. Nothing. I texted. How could you not tell me about the wedding? 3 hours later, I got a response. We'll talk later. Later. I'd missed my only brother's wedding and he wanted to talk later. I called my mother. She answered on the first ring, her voice syrupy sweet. Victoria, how are you, darling? How am I? How am I? You want to know how I am after you all attended Marcus's wedding without even telling me it happened? Silence. Then, oh honey, we thought you were too busy with work. You're always so busy, we didn't want to bother you. Too busy? For my brother's wedding, you didn't think to even ask me. Well, you and Marcus haven't been that close lately, and Sienna thought. Sienna, this was Sienna's idea. More silence. Then my mother said something that made my blood boil. She didn't think you'd fit in with their vision for the day. Your lifestyle is so different from theirs. And frankly, Victoria, you can be a bit much sometimes. Very opinionated. We didn't want any drama on their special day. I hung up. Let me tell you something about betrayal. It doesn't hit you all at once. It seeps in slowly like poison. That night, I lay in my bed in my beautiful mansion, surrounded by everything I'd worked so hard for, and I felt completely alone. My own family had decided I was too successful, too independent, too much to be included in one of the most important days of their lives. A month passed. I didn't reach out to Marcus, and he didn't reach out to me. My mother called a few times, but I let it go to voicemail. I threw myself into work, planning other people's happy moments while trying to forget my own heartbreak. Then, on a Tuesday evening, my doorbell rang. It was Marcus and Sienna, standing on my doorstep with nervous smiles. Hey, Vic, Marcus said, using the nickname he hadn't called me in years. Can we come in? Every instinct told me to slam the door in their faces, but curiosity won. I let them in, offered them nothing, not even water, and waited. They sat on my couch, and Sienna was the one who spoke first. Victoria, we know things have been complicated, but we're hoping we can move past all that because we need to ask you for a favor. A favor? They needed to ask me for a favor. We want to do a post-wedding reception, Marcus said. Something big and beautiful for all the people who couldn't make it to the actual wedding. And we were hoping we could host it here. Your property is absolutely perfect. The gardens, the pavilion, the space. It would be incredible. I stared at them, waiting for the punchline. Obviously, we'd be respectful of your home, Sienna added quickly. And we'd handle all the catering and setup. We just need the venue. The places we've been looking at are so expensive, and we already spent so much on the actual wedding, and we thought, since you're family. Since I'm family. Family. The word hung in the air like smoke. I let them finish their pitch. I let them show me Pinterest boards of their vision. I let Marcus tell me how much it would mean to him. I watched Sienna's eyes light up as she talked about the photos they could take in my gardens. Then I said one word. No. Marcus blinked. What? No, you can't use my mansion. But Vic, come on. We're family. I'm your brother. I stood up. You're right, Marcus. You are my brother, which makes what you did even worse. You deliberately excluded me from your wedding. Mom told me it was Sienna's idea, that I was too much for your special day, that I didn't fit your vision. Well, guess what? You don't fit my vision for who gets to use my property. Sienna's face flushed red. That's so petty. We're trying to include you now. No, you're trying to use me now. There's a difference. You want my house, my space, my property, the same things that apparently made me too different to invite to your actual wedding. You can't have it both ways. Before we continue, where are you watching from, and what time is it there? Drop it in the comments. And if you're Team Victoria, make sure you're subscribed because this story is about to get even better. Marcus stood too, his face hardening. I knew you'd be like this. This is exactly why we didn't want you there. You're selfish, Victoria. Everything has to be about you. I'm selfish. I'm selfish. You excluded your own sister from your wedding and didn't even have the decency to tell me it was happening. And now you have the audacity to come to my home and ask for a favor. Get out. Gladly, Sienna snapped, grabbing her purse. Come on, Marcus. We don't need her or her stupid house. They stormed out, and I closed the door behind them, my hands shaking. Here, where the story gets delicious. 2 weeks after they stormed out of my house, I got a call from Aunt Cecilia again. She was laughing so hard she could barely speak. "Victoria, you're not going to believe this. Try me." Marcus and Sienna's wedding photos, the ones from the Ashworth estate, they're ruined, all of them. Apparently, the photographer they'd hired, one of those budget photographers who promises luxury results, had accidentally formatted their memory card before backing up the files. Every single photo from their $40,000 wedding was gone. The ceremony, the reception, the family portraits, the first dance, everything. They paid extra for videography too, but the videographer's equipment had malfunctioned. The footage was corrupted and unrecoverable. Not a single professional image or video existed from their wedding day. The only photos that survived were grainy cell phone pictures taken by guests, most of them poorly lit and unflattering. "They're devastated," Aunt Cecilia said. "Sienna has been crying for days. They're trying to see if they can recreate some of the photos, but obviously it won't be the same. And get this, the Ashworth estate is completely booked for the next 18 months, so they can't even go back for a reshoot." I should have felt bad. Part of me wanted to feel bad. But mostly, I felt vindicated. The universe had delivered justice in a way I never could have orchestrated myself. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? Wrong. 3 days later, my mother called. "Victoria, I need you to do something for Marcus and Sienna." I almost laughed. "Absolutely not. You don't even know what I'm going to ask." "Let me guess. They want to do a photo shoot at my house to replace the wedding photos they lost." Silence, then how did you know? "Because I know Marcus, and I know Sienna, and I know that you all only remember I exist when you need something from me." "That's not fair, Victoria." "You know what's not fair, Mom? Not being invited to my own brother's wedding. Not even being told it was happening. Having my entire family decide I'm not worth including in major life events. That's what's not fair. He's your brother. You should be the bigger person." Those words, "be the bigger person," they're what people say when they want you to accept being treated badly without complaining. "No," I said simply. "I'm done being the bigger person. I'm done being the one who gives and gives while everyone else takes. Marcus made his choice when he didn't invite me. He and Sienna made their choice when they decided I was too much for their wedding. They don't get to undo those choices just because things didn't go the way they planned." My mother tried guilt-tripping me. She tried manipulation. She tried everything in her playbook. I stood firm. I won't lie. Standing up for myself came with consequences. My mother stopped calling. Marcus blocked me on social media. Some extended family members sent me messages calling me cold-hearted and vindictive. One cousin even said I was punishing them for an honest mistake. But here's the thing they didn't understand. It wasn't about the photos. It wasn't even really about the wedding, though that hurt deeply. It was about respect. It was about being valued. It was about refusing to let people treat me as an afterthought unless they needed something from me. Aunt Cecilia stood by me. My cousin Rachel stood by me. A handful of other family members quietly reached out to say they thought what happened to me was wrong. Those relationships deepened and became more meaningful. As for Marcus and Sienna, last I heard, they ended up doing a photo shoot at a public park. The photos are fine, nothing special, but fine. They serve as a permanent reminder that actions have consequences. My mansion remains mine, my sanctuary, my achievement, my space. Nobody gets to use it as a prop for their Instagram-perfect life when they couldn't be bothered to include me in the real moments. So here's what I learned from this whole experience. Your success will make some people uncomfortable. They'll be happy to celebrate you when you're struggling, when you're the underdog, when they can feel superior by helping you. But when you surpass them, when you achieve things they have, some people won't know how to handle it, and instead of being proud of you, they'll find ways to diminish you. Family isn't just about blood. It's about who shows up for you, who respects you, who values your presence in their lives. The people who deliberately excluded me from a major life event aren't acting like family. regardless of what our DNA says. You teach people how to treat you by what you accept. If I'd said yes to hosting their reception, if I'd allowed them to use my property after they excluded me, I would have been telling them that my feelings don't matter, that they can treat me however they want without consequences. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is say no. Do I regret my decision? Not for a second. Do I miss my brother every single day? But I refuse to set myself on fire to keep other people warm. I refuse to be someone's backup plan, their second choice, their convenient resource. My mansion stands beautiful and empty of people who don't value me. And honestly, that's exactly how it should be. What time is it where you are, and where are you watching from? I want to know who's out there in the Revenge Files community. And here's the most important question. What are the 3 major lessons you learned from my story? Drop them in the comments below. I'll be reading every single one, and I want to hear your perspectives. Did I do the right thing? Was I too harsh? Should I have been the bigger person? Let me know what you would have done in my situation. And remember, if you're Team Victoria, make sure you're subscribed to Revenge Files because we've got so many more stories coming your way. Stories about karma, justice, and people who stood up for themselves when the world told them to stay small. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next story. This is Victoria Hartwell, signing off. Remember, you teach people how to treat you. Make sure the lesson is one you're proud of.